What is your reason for not having children? I've chosen not to pass on my mental and physical health problems. I can see negative traits from both my mother's and father's family and decided not to continue the line. I do, however, want to adopt, alongside my unwillingness to curse a human with my genetically passed ailments. I also want to care for a child that has been left or abandoned. They need love before I create something that needs love. My wife and I decided long before we got married that if we did decide we wanted kids, we'd start by fostering and go from there. And honestly, for some of the same reasons, my own genetics are a cocktail of it's not a matter of if you get this disease, it's one that I don't want to pass along. I don't think wanting to spend your money on you and your husband makes you selfish. It means you want different things in life than other people, and that's fine. Some people prefer to spend time with nieces, nephews, and love them dearly, but don't want to be parents. I think if you can recognize that about yourself, that makes you a hell of a lot better of a person than a lot of people who have kids for the wrong reasons. Enjoy those vacations. This is what a lot of people don't understand. I've heard every annoying response to this. You'll change your mind when you're older / married / settled down. Kids are so cute and fun, though. Don't you want a daughter? Kids are cute sometimes, but that's a terrible reason to have them. They are a lifelong commitment. They drain your money, your energy, can compromise your mental health and career outlook. Having a baby just because they're cute is really a shame because they grow up into teenagers, and then adults. If you are raising a kid to be your little mini-me, they'll never have the chance to have their own identity or grow into a functional adult. My older sister has 2 kids. All her friends are about 30 in the same boat. They love their kids until they are in separate rooms and have had a few drinks. Then they actually speak to the extent it has completely overran their lives. There's no way you could openly say I wish I didn't have my kids, but I can see it in their mannerisms and statements. Because my parents have 15 kids between them, and I'm over that magic of tiny baby child cuteness. Because neither of my parents wanted kids, nor did they treat them well. Because I don't want to become my parents. Because I can't afford it. Because I couldn't carry a pregnancy to term even if I miraculously managed to somehow get pregnant. Because even if I managed to keep a pregnancy going, either the baby or I or both would die. Because my family's genetics suck. Because I just don't want to. I also think that if you have the time, love and energy you want to give to someone, you should do it to someone who already exists. Whether it's an animal, a child, an adult who can be your friend, elderly person, irrelevant, whatever suits you. But so many living creatures are alone and abandoned. They are the ones that need love, not someone who doesn't even exist at the moment, just because they share half of your genetic material. I don't want to ever be pregnant or give birth, or C-section etc. I don't want to care for babies, toddlers, children of the age that comes after that, although that's probably the best, teenagers, college kids, young adults. I want to use my money and time in ways that benefit me and things that already exist. I prefer to be the focus of my partner's affections. I am an introvert. After work I don't want to deal with people. I like to be able to do what I want, when I want it. I find child-related activities to be excruciatingly boring and exhausting. I don't think it's very ethical to have biological kids as per my own beliefs about life. And there is also environmental factor. I don't like modern parenting that basically makes the child the most important and dominant person in parents' life. I am not interested in living like that. I like the idea of being the final and the ultimate product of my beautiful family line. I don't want to waste my great genes on what is essentially my replacement. Finally, I just don't want kids. I don't have any reason pulling me in that direction in the first place. And I think you shouldn't have kids unless you have a good and strong reason to do that. Succinct, especially about modern parenting, meaning the child is central to your life. I see so many people argue that your own life is over and nobody is more important than the child once they come along. Fuck that. I haven't worked hard on myself all these years to lose myself to another person. What a sad thing to do, and a betrayal of what my own mother wanted for me. By the way, she had 5 kids and was stuck in an abusive marriage. She completely agrees with my view on this with regard to myself. My husband and I both have mental issues. While we are stable most of the time, it is always a near miss. Sometimes we fall into the crater of dysfunction and have to get dragged out by mental health professionals and meds. We don't have the energy to provide a loving, consistent home, so we chose not to have children. It is sad because his mom will never have grandkids, but that is the breaks. Honestly, I've just never had the desire. I appreciate my own space too much. I can do what I want, when I want, with nobody there to rely on me. I can play loud music, or sit there in complete silence. I can stay up late or go to bed early and read. On days off I can stay in bed as long as I want, or sit on my balcony and enjoy the morning breeze. I get to choose when to do things, when to talk, when to eat, when to watch a film, when to see friends, family, when to relax, when to wash up, when to anything. The thought of having something to call my own doesn't trigger anything within me. I'm me. I fulfill myself. I don't need a child to complete me. I value autonomy. I barely have enough time or money to do all the things I want to as it is. Having kids is gonna make that even less time and money. I like having the freedom to do what I want and buy what I want when I want. I also find kids obnoxious. The crying over stupid shit, the whining, the cute things they say, their obsession with watching the same awful movie show on repeat for eternity. The world is also getting scarier. I don't want to bring someone into it and watch them struggle or have to worry about them getting hurt or whatever. I don't like people and don't want to have to play nice with another kid's parents just because our kids are friends, or have to pretend to be interested in their sports games or other stupid hobbies. I'm not good at pretending. I don't want things getting in the way of my career. Just about all of my coworkers have kids and can't put in the time or effort at work because their kid is sick or needs to go to the doctor or got in trouble at school. Then they have to make up their hours on the weekends or staying late. The other option is using vacation time for all that, and I wouldn't want to use up my PTO to run errands. I just plain don't want kids. I never have. I understand logically there's some urge other people do, but I don't. I wouldn't pass my health problems on to a kid. I have several inherited conditions and the chances are pretty high. I've done far too much child raising due to shitty family dumping responsibilities on me. I've done enough for a lifetime already. God, I have a million of them. My husband, 28/M, and I, 28/F. got married in November 2017. We've been together 6.5 years, own our large condo, and both have jobs in our fields. Every single day I get tasked when I'm having children by family members, friends, co-workers, even people I barely know, even strangers. I find it so completely rude that people even ask, what if I don't want kids? What if I can't have kids? What if we had been trying and can't afford further options to help conceive? FFS. Yes, everyone around me is getting engaged, having weddings and getting pregnant. Even my best friends, who I've gone through life with and have gone through all the different stages of life with. And sometimes, I get a little pang of sadness knowing they're going on to a stage that we aren't ready for and may never get to. But then I remember, We love to travel. We both have career aspirations and goals and dreams we want to achieve. I have student loans to pay off. I like sleep. We have 2 dogs and enough responsibility and stress in our lives. We plan to move away from most of our family in the next 2 or 3 years. Neither my husband nor myself could imagine staying home and not working. While we could afford daycare, we would have to give up traveling, fun stuff to do it. And neither of us is willing or ready for that. I am constantly guilt-tripped by everyone. Oh, you'll feel bad ungiven and have a couple. What will you do in your 30s? You'll be the only ones and won't have anyone to hang out with. Who's gonna take care of you? It makes me want to scream. 34/F. Married. 1 cat. I have a history of endometriosis and adenomyosis. When I was 24, I had excision surgery with a top expert, but my pain was still there. I currently have a kidney stone and the pain is comparable. It was ruining my life. The only way to cure adenomyosis is a hysterectomy. So, after a lot of thought, I had a hysterectomy. At first they just removed my uterus, but over the years everything came out piecemeal, so zero chance to have a bio kid. There was no way I could take care of a kid when I was in so much pain. I also didn't want to pass this shit down. My mom had female troubles but had me anyway, and my 2 brothers. My boyfriend at the time broke up with me because he wanted to have bio kids at some point. I couldn't blame him. My husband knew I was barren when we met and he had never really wanted kids, so it worked out. We still grieve for the kids we will never have. We've both had therapy over it, but we are also okay with it. We'll never get over it. We have gotten used to it. It's hard though when so much of society is so family focused. It stings. We are proud parents of a cat, and I love our little family. I have hardcore anxiety, depression, and a history of dealing with anorexia. My mom is also an alcoholic. When I was 12, my mom took me to the doctors out of concern because I had lost a lot of weight. This was when my eating disorder started. My mom told me later as an adult that a nurse pulled her to the side and told her that they believed I was anorexic. However, my mom was struggling with her alcoholism and was in denial that I had an eating disorder. It was only until I was 19 did I seek help for it. That kind of fucked me up, and I don't ever want to be in a position where I fail a child like that. I'm also a trans man, so the idea of having my own child makes me deeply uncomfortable. So it's multiple factors in me not wanting kids. I'll just stick to a dog. I don't have enough saved up to adopt one. I want to adopt kids so bad. I went back to college and studied psychology and child development. I mentor my nieces and nephews. I mentor at-risk youth. I'm the kind of person who kids come up to me and ask if I want to play, and I'm not too proud to get in the dirt and play sandcastles or whatever with them. I want to teach kindergarten. I have no money for adoption processes and my goals seem so far off. I want to foster to adopt, or adopt outright, but it seems so expensive. I know I'd be a good mom. So many kids here languish on foster care. It makes me sad. I don't see a single good thing about having kids. I've not wanted kids since I knew they were an option since I was about 12. I'm almost 30 now. I don't want to invest my time and energy in raising kids when I could be traveling instead and buying stupid regrettable things which I can forget about if I don't like them. I'm definitely not nurturing and will be a terrible mother. I'm sure I will love my kids if I were to have any, but I don't want to. If I want to give love to children, there are plenty nieces and nephews running around. My in-laws have plenty grandkids, and my sister wants kids, so I'm not depriving anyone. They're bad for the environment. If I was given a choice to be born, I would never take it. This world is cruel, and right now I'm that horrible age where people are falling sick and dying all around me, and I don't want to subject anyone to this misery and constant paranoia every time they receive an unexpected call. I worked really hard to lose 25 kilograms, and I don't want to go through the pain of gaining weight and carrying kids ever. I was a good kid overall, didn't get into trouble, did fairly well at school, and I still hated the idea of having a daughter like me. I resent my parents often for sheltering me so much. Or the other scenario is the kid grows up to be a bit too cool or distant, and then you spend months waiting for a call. Not even one scenario seems worth it. I find kids fairly dull until they're old enough to hold a conversation, and don't much fancy waiting for that to be the case. They're expensive. Me and my partner want to focus on artistic pursuits, and I would like to give a kid a better life than I would likely be able to provide. I have some mental health issues I wouldn't want to affect a kid with. Lives are often filled with joy, but that's not true of all of them. What is true of all of them is that there is plenty of pain of all kinds. I can't countenance creating an individual when that individual will certainly endure a great deal of pain while not necessarily having much joy. I'm a gambling man, but not when it's someone else's life. I don't dislike kids. They are fine, but I have no desire to be a parent or raise children. Parenting is a 24/7 thankless, all-consuming process you have to do for at least 18 years, and you can never take a day off or opt out. I know it's not hard the whole time, but I have no desire to bear or raise children, so I see no reason why I should. I really wish people would just believe me and leave me alone about it, rather than telling me I will change my mind or saying maybe my birth control will fail. Kind of a fucked up thing to wish on someone. There are so many things one can dedicate their life towards. Parenthood is just one of them. I feel we're at a point in history, population and ideology-wise, where it's not crucial for every individual to procreate for survival of the species. It can be left to those who truly feel a calling towards the cultivation and development of a child, rather than as a tradition-based milestone or simply a mark of one's legacy. My reason for not having children is because I have no reason to have children. While I have many reasons not to have children, they are essentially irrelevant, as I have no reason to have any. People who have children have the same reasons not to do so as well, but they still have children, because it is worth it. For some people, like me, there is no worth it. There are no upsides to having children, only downsides. I just have no desire to raise one. The actual daily act of taking care of a kid sounds very unappealing. I appreciate that people find the rewards of a child being cute, loving, and watching them learn worth the expense and hard day-to-day stuff, but I just don't care about it. It's fun spending time with other people's kids though, but I get to give them back and go back to having freedom to do whatever I want whenever I want. I am the product of two people with mental health problems from families full of mental health problems. Needless to say, I have mental health problems. On top of that, Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disorder, was also inherited. Autism also runs in my family. My niece and 3 of my cousin's kids have it. I also have several deadly allergies, and this is not uncommon in my family. I wouldn't wish my life on anyone, let alone a child, and I didn't inherit everything I could have. Who's to say it wouldn't pop up in a child? Honestly, I just don't like them. I'm okay with them when they're someone else's kids and I don't have to actually care for them. But as I learned from being forced to babysit, I have zero patience for children and don't think it's fair for them to have to put up with someone yelling at them all the time. I'd rather have dogs because I have way more patience for them. At this point I'm 100% sure it's due to parentification. Both parents are musicians, so they had work hours that left me to take care of younger siblings. one of which is a special needs dude. I feel like I've already raised a couple of kids, so I have zero desire to have any of my own. The first time I heard about the term, I was at some sort of training and the guest speaker talked about it. When he described it, I had one of those "holy shit, that's exactly me" moments. I've always known why I didn't want kids, but this put actual facts to how I felt. Generically predisposed towards hearing loss and subsequent deafness, it's an onerous task living with such an incapacitating condition, and I'm certain that would be a detriment to my parental skills as well as the obvious ramifications for the child. I also don't have the financial stability that a child's needs would dissipate anyway, plus the additional subsiding of my retired parents as my culture's inveterate tradition dictates. Kids. The end of spontaneous sex, traveling by yourself, and doing whatever you want with your money. They're loud, attention-seeking, they cry you awake. The first roughly 5 years are pretty torturous, the first 2 are actual hell. I've yet to meet a happy parent with a young child. They love that they have a kid, but they're always tired, always irritable, always strapped for money. Basically they hate everything about the world. They can't just leave the house when they want or do what they want, when they want. Fuck that. There's enough fucking people on this planet too. The mental health, time and financial hits are just not worth it. Unfortunately my family name dies if I don't have kids, so yay for the inevitable guilt trip.